Welcome everybody out to podcast number 362. Do you look at construction like it's war? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've been able to actually do a little bit of scaffolding ahead of these podcasts. So here we go. Business is going good. Spencer Easton is with us full time with Elevate Construction and Lean Tact LLC. We have Rachel Young who does business and finance and marketing. And I am still working full time, and we're working to expand our influence and to help people out and to create raving fans and to just do a better job for the people that we're working with. So we're really, just having a good time and doing some great and wonderful things. So that's the kind of the news. Next week, Spencer and I, and actually Felipe Engineer and a couple of other people, we fly to Germany to get the tact simulations that they do with tacting and to visit BMW and a number of other European construction companies to film and bring that stuff back to the States. And then we go to visit Nicholas Modig in Sweden, pending, nothing happens with COVID-19 or any shutdowns. That's where we're headed. So I'll be out of pocket a little bit next week. I mean, we'll still do podcast episodes, but Spencer will go with me for a week, come back and cover, and then Rachel will cover. But really, all of the Elevate team is out next week, except for during the podcast. So that's kind of where we are. Pretty fun and exciting things, but we're ready to jam. We're ready to move forward and do great things. So lots of cool things happening. We were in Florida doing a boot camp. I'm sure you heard us driving last week to and from camp. We did a tax certification day 1 today, which was absolutely wonderful. Great participants. I really love that training. And we just got a lot more in store out ahead of us. So if you ever have a need for project recovery, training, consulting, or you have a question, please reach out to us and we'll help you. And if we have anything we can give you for free, we'll do that too. So just know that we're your eternal friends if you ever need anything. So what am I excited about in life? I'm excited about online training and accessibility. So there's a lot of video content and things that's coming to pass, and we're going to be able to build out Kajabi, which is online training courses, content for people so they can get that evergreen. I'm really excited about that because it's just, it's easier on people, right? They don't have to take off time. They can do it and it's always there. So I like that thought. I came home, and actually I should save this for tomorrow so I don't run out of topics, but I picked up the tax planning and integrated control book. It's nice and black with a purple cover. It's beautiful. I opened it up. The pages really look nice. I haven't found any errors or problems. Now, one thing with Amazon, and it's really unfortunate, is when you publish something through Amazon and they actually print it, then sometimes the binding isn't everything you would want it to be. I don't know what to do about it because you're pretty much going to find that problem unless you go with a professional publisher other than Amazon. So if you ever have that problem with the books, maybe pages are falling out or something happens and it's really bad, then you need to make sure you get a reprint from Amazon or contact us and let us know. But the book is out. It's beautiful. It's twice as big. I love it. So let's talk about some fans and feedback. Jason, I appreciate the points you made today about how critical connection, relevance, and measurement are to how important they are to individual and team leader success. I have a program that I do on connection and how we create it on teams. Interesting fact, which you probably know this, the brain is essentially wired for 2 key things: problem solving, which we are really good at, and connection, which we pretty much suck at. The irony, when we create connection on our teams, our ability to engage in complex problem solving increases exponentially. Our teams are in the throes of complex problems all the time. Connection allows them to better harness the collective intelligence of the team, but too often we think we don't have time or shouldn't create connection, yet lack of connection undermines problem solving. Ironic. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. So really appreciate that feedback. I thought that was pretty helpful, so I shared it here. All the feedback we get, we share here. So conflict. Construction is war. And although you may not like the analogy, it is exactly like war. So let me tell you a story. One time I was doing some coaching and some consulting with somebody, and they were like, you know what? I love your book. the art of the builder, elevating construction superintendents, but I don't like the war analogies. Sounds a little cheesy, not sure. And then I've heard that a couple of times, and I'm not sure if people think that it's some kind of cliche thing, or if we did that to, build a brand or to make it more popular or what. I don't really know, what people think, but some people don't like the war analogies. Now, this isn't necessarily criticism. This is just my passion and opinion. We really need to consider this concept. I feel like construction is exactly like war for the following reasons. And people that don't get that construction is like war don't get the following things. They don't get that we're fighting against an enemy. They don't get that we're here protecting the innocent. They don't get that we are here building and the workers are out building at a sacrifice. They don't get that construction teams must be disciplined like they were disciplined, meaning a disciplined, trained, regimented group of people like they have to be in a troop or a platoon or a regiment. They don't get that construction is all about strategy, tactics, and logistics, and they don't understand the passion. And so let me cover each of these one by one. In construction, and just like war, we're fighting against an enemy. So we're not actually fighting against human beings. We're not fighting against countries. We're not fighting against dictators, but we are fighting against waste and variation. And if we don't look at it like it's war, we run the risk of not understanding who the enemy is and why we have to fight against it. We are fighting against waste and variation. That is the enemy. We have to stop it. We have to fight against them to create flow and to gain access, because waste and variation cause all of the fallout of everything else that we have. It causes the waste, the unevenness, the overburden. It causes starts and stops. It causes overproduction. It causes too many flow units in the work. It causes all of the bad things, all of the bad things. And we need to get really clear about where we're headed. I remember in Paul Akers' book, he says, you know, there was a guy that was learning lean, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he put on a helmet and he's like, we're at war, we're fighting against, waste. We're fighting against waste. And in construction, it's waste and variation. The other thing is a really good, well, I won't even tell you his name, but a really good friend of mine, he started this tradition, which we have, where we buy a Roman mains gladius. It's a simulated sword, but it's a simulation of the sword they used in the Roman Empire. And he actually named a region of their company, the so and so legion, and that they are fighting against waste and variation. And so if you get awarded a sword, that means that you're one of those that fights against waste and variation. And you can award a sword to somebody who's doing great things with lean and fighting against waste in the industry. And it's a pretty neat thing. And so we continue that tradition today at Elevate Construction boot camps and in certification trainings. It's really quite a neat thing, and it symbolizes that we're at war fighting against waste and variation. And I thought about it. I once got a reply on LinkedIn, and he was the first heckler I ever had, and he was like, Jason, variation doesn't hurt us on construction projects. Something else does. So I started looking at it, and I'm like, after a little bit more research, and maybe even a lot more, I am firmly of the conclusion that variation is the cause of almost all of our problems, and we have to fight against it. The other thing is, in war, when people go to war, they protect the innocent. They protect our freedom. They protect the people back here at the States. They protect their families. We are protecting people, men, women, and children, anybody, the elderly, those who might be of lesser circumstances, those within our protected borders. And people fight for something. They think of their husbands, they think of their wives, they think of their children, they think of the people that they left at home. We are protecting the innocent. And people that don't get that construction is like war don't get that we are protecting workers and that we are protecting families. We absolutely have to get that. We have to get our minds wrapped around that, or else we're not going to have the passion. And that's the last thing I want to talk to you at the end of this list, is that we're not going to have the passion to go out there and lead these projects the way that we really want to. So construction is like war because we protect the innocent by creating flow, by creating stability, by creating good work balance, by having good project teams, by having good overall project durations. We really, really, really 100% are protecting people. And if we keep that in focus, we'll do a better job. Because at the end of the day, if a superintendent says, well, I've been doing this for years, why would I change? Well, why would you change? Because for the people that actually have to work on your job, like, it sucks. Like, They have nasty bathrooms, no lunchrooms, like it's all garbage, and there's very little safety, and they're rushed, and you're making them work, you know, uh, si- uh, 6, 12, 6 12-hour days, and they're burnt out, and you're ruining their families. And so people that are like, we've always finished on time, why would I improve? Well, you would improve because you're protecting people and you're protecting families, and that's the bottom line. So the other thing is that it comes at a sacrifice. And if we don't think that our workers are sacrificing themselves, their lives, hanging off a 10-story building on the side of a column, being in very dangerous, cold and hot circumstances, and giving us their best years, then we don't respect people enough yet, and we can get there. So I'm giving us hope. But we in construction sacrifice a considerable amount of time, effort, health. We put our lives on the line. And so that sacrifice must come with a life of meaning and purpose, and companies and projects and owners that respect that and value that sacrifice and will take away anything that's unneeded by way of variation or danger and make the most safe, enjoyable, happy place to work that anybody could possibly imagine, so that the sacrifice can be reduced while those workers and the people on those project management teams live a life of purpose and value as they sacrifice their time and sometimes put themselves in dangerous situations. Construction is a very dangerous industry. The other thing that the people don't get that construction is like war, they don't get that we must be disciplined. When Patton took over in World War II, when he went from Morocco to Tunisia, and he's fixing the problems that we had in the United States with the lack of discipline. He started to have them salute. He had them get up on time, go to breakfast and lunch and dinner on time, dress sharply, wear their helmets, train over and over. The language they used, he was very disciplined. And the American forces started to whoop butt on everybody because they were disciplined. And I tell people on construction sites, we're not going to win if you don't look like a construction worker, train like a construction worker, act like a construction worker. Just like Patton said, you don't look like soldiers, you don't act like soldiers, you don't train like soldiers. Discipline and rigorous training, just like they do in the military, is the key to success. And people that don't think that war is like construction or construction is like war don't get that. The other thing is the same kinds of strategy, tactics, and logistics that you find in war apply to construction, every one of them. The only things that I don't transfer over are like espionage, spying, dishonesty, things like that. However, if you could apply any of those things against waste and variation, non-human things or non-entity type things, I'm totally, on board with it. But if you take a book like The 33 Strategies of War or The Art of War, it ties to construction perfectly. And people that don't think that construction is like war don't get that. The other thing is passion. When you watch a movie like We Were Soldiers or Braveheart or, Saving Private Ryan or any of these movies, and you're like, yeah, yeah. And there's these, battle, the other day I was watching The Patriot, and the scenes where they're coming over the hill and they're beating the British. It's like, yes, like I love this. I feel the passion. I want to be a part of something like this. Well, you can in construction. And so people that don't think that construction is like war don't get the passion. And we have to get that. And there's an interesting thing. Katie sent me a YouTube link the other day that was talking about how back in the day, historical figures like Greeks and Romans, they wouldn't ever write about the color blue. And so people asked, did they have the color blue back in the day? And scientists determined, yeah, they had the color blue, but they didn't have a word to describe it. And so as soon as you have a word to describe it, your mind is more likely to pick up on it. That's just the way our minds work. And so here's the word, marginal. The definition of marginal, the use of the word marginal is when something is minimal or barely enough. These are the figurative uses for marginal, which comes from the Latin word margo, edge. Literally, the word is used with things like on a border. And so marginal means it's barely good enough, right? And so most projects are marginal. Most behaviors are marginal. Most discipline is marginal. Most training is marginal, meaning it's just barely right on the edge. It's mediocre. It's not good enough. It's like milquetoast. It's not good enough. Marginal. We have to get away from marginal schedules, marginal project teams, marginal training, marginal approaches, marginal operational control, marginal everything. We have to get to excellent. We need to set our set point to excellent. And so that's my challenge. The current condition is we are way too passive in this industry about things. And it's just because we're not paying attention. We don't have that passion. We're like, oh, I'm going to work. It's my day job. No, get out of the industry if this is your day job. Freaking go to work. We are at war. We are conquering the enemy. We are protecting the innocent. We are here at a sacrifice in a disciplined way, using strategy, tactics, and logistics with full passion, full on, just like Braveheart. We were soldiers. Any of these other movies. Like, we have to find that feeling, find that passion. And so my challenge is we need to pick up a weapon and fight. I'm challenging what's the movie? A Few Good Men. I'm challenging him when he said, I suggest you pick up a weapon and you stand a post. Like, that's exactly how I feel about it. Like, if somebody doesn't think construction is like war, I suggest you pick up a weapon and you stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you're entitled to, because you are here 100% to protect the innocent and to protect our customers and to protect people's families and to protect these workers. And that is why you're here. And if it's just a day job, I'm inviting you to leave, because we are here and we are part of our own remarkable story with our own remarkable speeches, with our own remarkable moments. And we live a life of meaning according to a code. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.